Hi YouTube, Mr. Dodo449 here. Time for another layout update. It's been almost 2 weeks now since I did the last one, the 21st of February I think that was the last time I did it. So yeah, 10 days or so, but anyway, enough of that. Yeah, update. So I've been doing a little bit of work, but the reason it's taking so long to get this video out is I wanted to finish one project before I did the update and so on. So we're going to start off not where the camera's facing. Actually, I'm going to move the camera around and we'll start over there. Right then, so as you can see here, I've added a corner section onto the board now, and it's got a really nice sort of edge to it, which will, create a good look to the actual layout, the baseboards and everything. It'll give a good shape to the layout. But anyway, this here is nothing special about this board at all. It's just a corner. There's 3 lines running around the corners, but I'll show you that in a minute. And it's all I've done is exactly the same build as all the other ones, except from I made it into a perfect square, and then I just basically just cut off one corner to create this shape. But yeah, it's quite a nice shape. Sorry about the mess, but yeah, you can see the sort of shape which I've gone for now, which looks really nice. It's got the same design of legs underneath. There's also underneath the board there's an eye to run wires through, so they sort of run quite neatly around the corners. But as you can see there, I've got 3 lines. I've done it very simply. I've got 2nd, 3rd and 4th radius curves. I was going to do 2nd, 4th and flexi track around the edge, but I just thought, well, what's really the point? I mean, it's quite difficult to get flexi track corners to look neat, because you have to keep an even gap between the 2 rails. And any loco that you buy will go around 4th radius, no problem, 3rd radius, no problem. And all the locos that run on the inside track are going to be, smaller, 262s, 060s, that sort of locos. They'll go around those corners really easily without any real trouble. Now the only thing I might be adding here is a point to run from one track to the other, from the inner track, from the bottom track to the inner track, and the point will come off about there where that join is and come around along. It will sort of take about 3 foot almost to get from one track to the other. It will sort of start here, then run around, slowly getting out further and further, and then about there it would join onto the track, onto the 2nd track, and that was sort of one way from switching from one track to the other. That's just an idea I've had, but I'm going to possibly buy the track and see how it looks first of all before I actually do anything properly. Now none of this track has been stuck down, nailed down, and as you can see I haven't got the foam bedding underneath it. There's no drop wires, there's nothing. All I've literally done is just attach fish plates to the ends, which means it does give me a little bit of a runoff for locos, and they sort of, there's no risk of them falling off the edge now, which is quite nice compared to the other problem I had. So yeah, so that's just the baseboard which I've done, and it looks quite good. So we'll swing around to where the camera was to start with, and I can now start showing you what I've done on the scenery. So I'm back at this area which you've seen previously before, the road and everything, but I've improved it quite a lot just by doing very small things. I'll start off over here with the track. Now, sorry, not the track, the yard area. Now originally it was quite rough, and there were sort of areas that didn't look quite good, and I discovered that if you just rub the surface, you can actually sort of knock off all the high bits, and it creates a lot nicer look. Sort of the colours are now working into each other rather than sort of blobs of colour, if that makes sense. That's what it was originally. But I got rid of that. Literally just rubbed my fingers over the top to knock off any large bits, hoovered up all the remainder stuff, and that's what you end up with. And it looks quite good now. The colour sort of changes from quite a rough black here to a grey right at the other end. Sorry, why did I say grey? I meant brown. It goes to brown at the other end. So yes, that's one thing I did. Now the other thing which I've done is I had a slight thing with the hedges. Those hedges at the back you can see, both this side and around the road, they look quite good. There's different colours of green in there. There's 3 different types of material I used. I used light green and dark green clump foliage and light green lichen, I believe it's called, to create those. And yeah, they look quite good. They're hedges. They look like hedges. Somebody looked at them, they're hedges. But I found a way to improve them, and these ones down here I've made the change to. Now hopefully you can see how much more improved they are, and to be honest, all I've actually done is added onto the top of the, what do you call them, bushes. Sorry, I've lost something. There it is. Hang on. Sorry, I couldn't see it in my scenery box. Yeah. There you go, it's in focus. It's all I've done to the top of all the trees is I've used this stuff here. This is lichen, but it's like a limey yellow colour, a pink reddy colour, and a sort of vivid orange colour. 3 different colours there, and all I do is I rip off a very small amount. So this one bag will probably do the whole layout. And the bag cost me £4 from local model shop, but that'll do the whole layout well. Because I can actually rip off tiny little bits there, a few on this side here, and just every now and then I just put one little bit on there, and all it does is it adds a different colour to the hedges. It makes them look a lot better, a lot more realistic. Like there's just a couple of, you know, like flowers at the top of them. I'm sort of going for the middle of summer sort of layout. If you're going for like a winter style layout, then obviously your hedges wouldn't be green. Well, they might be. If you're going for early spring, you might have more flowers around there, or if you're going for autumn, you'll probably have less or no of these flowery sort of colours. But I'm going for middle of summer, so I want really like summery looking grasses, you know, that sort of thing I'm going for. So these just little bushes, colour in the bush, it makes it look so much better. I hope you'll agree with me, and so on, yeah. So I had a question. I thought I'd better just put an answer to it, because there's quite a lot to explain. Basically, I was asked, how do I create my level crossing? Now, the 2 ends with the gates on it are a Hornby single track level crossing kit, and it comes with 2 ramps and a middle section, which is this one here. Now, I had these 2, which are from Pico, and they're all made of plastic, and then they were black or grey. And as all I did is I painted the ramps, anything plastic, so the ramps, the inners between the track, was all painted a dark brown to make them look like wood. Thankfully, I didn't have to add any detail or lines or anything like that, because the moulded plastic already looked like wood. It had like a wood effect on it. Then I simply cut some foam, like the same sort of foam I used for my track bed. I cut it up and stuck it in between the gaps. So this is actually springy. You can put pressure on it, it bounces back. But that's alright, because it means you can actually like force it in the gaps that run between the rails and stuff, and stick it down really well. It's not going to move anywhere or anything. Then once I've got that all stuck down in the correct place, I just picked up the same sort of scatters stuff that I used on the road and put it over the top on the middle bits especially, and on the ramp as well. As you can see, there's tarmac colour, then it goes brown for a bit, then tarmac again, then brown, tarmac, brown, and so on. And that's basically just how I did that. Static grass. Now, depending on what sort of thing you're going for, depends on how much static grass you want, you know, how big the static grass is, how thick it is, and so on. Now, this area here you see in front of you is a maintained piece of grass, so it's quite short. I believe the colour was summer green, they called it. It's quite short. Those bits are only they're only about 2-3 mil at the longest long. They sit on there quite nice, they give a really nice finish. If you want to do a lawn, that's the sort of grass I'd use there. But this is a maintained area, so I might even get a guy with a mower, and you're like mowing it or something like that, to stick on it, which is maintained. So when I come to the other side of this bush, which is going to have the goods shed on top of it, when I come to the other side, it's no longer maintained, and it's rough grass. It's like grass that was cut last year, so it's quite long, quite rough, and so on. Hopefully you can just about see it. Sorry. I was trying to get camera down to a good level, but I don't want to go much lower than that. Now this grass here is 5 mil grass from Knock or Notch or whatever you want to call it. It's their light green. They're dark green. It's a really nice colour. There's also bits of light green in there as well. Static grass, it obviously sticks up quite nicely, and one thing you can do with static grass is when it's when it's standing up and you've stuck it down fresh, its glue's still wet, gently rub your finger over the top in sort of like random patterns, and it will create like a wavy effect on the grass. It will look like it's all bound together, so the camera doesn't really pick it up too well. Maybe if I'll try that. You can actually just about see it. You see where the colour changes very slightly there, it's slightly darker, and there and there. those patches there are where the grass has just sat down on a different angle to the other pieces, just from me rubbing my finger over the top like so. And it creates a much nicer looking effect than just grass standing straight up. So that's really nice to add grass there. That's sort of the finished colour and thing that I wanted there. So I'm not doing any more work on that bit. But when it comes to here, I'm not quite sure what sort of grass I'm going to use there, especially when it comes to in between the track. These are going to be 12mm long bits of grass. They're going to stand right up. They're going to be completely unmaintained, just wild grass there. So yeah. Yeah, I've used the same static grass on this side. That again is, you know, maintained grass. It was cut a year ago, so it's not that long, if you see what I mean. Not a year ago, about 6 months ago, or whatever. So hopefully you sort of get the style of grass there. But that piece there is done. A little bit more detailing to do, but most of the detailing will be done when I start putting crates and barrels and things like that on there. But this is what I want to show you, and this was that project which I wanted to finish before I started doing the layout. Update. Now it's a signal box, and it's completely hand built from card. I just used cereal boxes to make it. I will be. Sorry, that's a bit better. I am doing a tutorial on how I built it. I can't tell you when that's going to go live, but it will be at some point. But anyway, yeah, it's styled on a GWR box, but it's got a little bit of an LMS had one, and the Somerset and Dorset Railway had one. The style of signal box with the gantry bit running over the top of one track or two tracks with the signal box on top of it as well. I wanted to do that style, but I wanted it in GWR colours and sort of the design of GWR, so it's sort of my own signal box. If you have a look at GWR boxes, quite often they have red brick on the bottom, a band of wood or something, and then yellow painted wood on the top with these lines in it, which were obviously with the slats joined together. Now it's not quite finished, but it's at to a stage where I think, yep, I can put that on the layout. It looks quite good. I'm not sticking it down or anything yet. Once it's not finished, well, it needs a ladder running up on this side. It needs something running up to the door on this side, and something running up to the door on the other side. I'll show you in a minute. It also needs handrails put all the way around the top here, because it's not quite. Yeah, it's like a walkway running around the edge. Just needs handrails put on there, and then that'll be done. Inside of it, there's some scenery detail in there. When you see the how-to video, you'll see that a lot more clearly. It's not quite finished. There's a couple of things I need to do. Is basically on the roof, I need to put coving, I think you call it. Might be wrong. Basically edging on all the joins on the roof. Two things that hides the join this is actually just paper that I printed off the internet. It hides the joins in the paper, and it creates like a nice looking roof. So yeah, there are lights inside, but I haven't done any wiring for that yet, so that'll be in the next update.